Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Jamie Dawn, your professional psychic advisor, success coach, evolutionary revolutionary. Speaking of evolutionary revolutionary, this week, June 26th through July 1st, we've got some evolutionary stuff. And for myself, particularly, this is, I'll use the word epic, kind of week for me. Now, we have a lot of energy going on in the sky with Mercury and Mars and the opposition to Pluto. And Neptune, lots of energy. So what does all this mean? Where do I start? Let me start with this. We're going to experience quite a bit of activity of the mind where we're looking for a place that feels like home. There's this returning to ourselves, returning to that feeling of I belong here. Now, that could be I belong here with my friends, I could belong here with my family, I belong here with my country, my neighborhood. It can envelop and just kind of bring in whatever works for you that you would consider to be home or belonging. Because right now with the sun in Cancer, we have a lot of emotional energy. And also think about this, Cancer rules the breast of the body, where nurturing comes in. So what do we need in order to nurture ourselves that we feel as though we belong, we feel as though we're at home? Now, for me, like I mentioned, this week is a little bit epic for me. It starts out with a wedding anniversary and then a birthday. And then my son is graduating from a class that starts his career. And so there's going to be family in town. There's also going to be celebrations. There's going to be gatherings with friends for birthday and for, celebrating graduation, that sort of thing. The other part of this, and this is for me personally, how the dynamics this week will challenge me and play out is, yes, there's going to be a lot of this feeling of coming home, this opportunity to communicate with my friends and my family, my loved ones, how much I care about them, the celebrations that are going to take place. For instance, my birthday isn't about necessarily the day I was born, whoop-de-doo. It has more to do with honoring my mother, who is the representation of the divine feminine, who gave birth, who was the vehicle in which life could come into this world. And so most of all, and especially with this Cancerian energy, I'm honoring my mother for my birthday. I wouldn't be here without her. And she's an incredibly dynamic woman and very quiet behind the scenes in many cases. But when she speaks, it is loud. And I don't mean boisterous. I mean, you pay attention. It's wise. And she's the eternal Peter Pan, always somebody who loves to play and loves to laugh and sees she's a Pollyanna, she sees the positives in life. And I love her. So I dedicate this video in particular to my mother today. And the invitation for this week for many of us it's going to be, how do we mother ourselves? How do we find that love, that life within us that allows us to birth and belong in this world? Remember, you'll hear me say, you matter, you have value because you have breath. This energy this week is going to remind you of why you're here and how you express it in this idea or this collective called family. So as you continue throughout the week, you may experience moments of inspiration. You could experience moments where power struggles come into play because we do have Mercury and Mars opposing Pluto. And when that happens, there could be, say, an idea that's presented that to someone in your circle, maybe a loved one or family member, and they don't agree with you, or they don't get it, they don't understand it. And it can create a power struggle because they may question, why do you want this? Pluto in Capricorn is this idea of and the energy, not just the idea, it's happening where we challenge our structures, we challenge the way that we have always done things. There's a revolution that's happening, and the reason for this is so that we are able to check in and say, does this still work? Because some of these old, outdated ideas and ways of being no longer work. And so we're going to be invited to express ourselves with those that we feel safe with, because Cancer energy loves safety, needs safety, and creates a safe environment. So you may find that you're surrounded by people who help you feel safe. But when they challenge you, they challenge an idea or something, or the way you express yourself, you decided you wanted to change your hair color or whatever, and they didn't like it, or they don't understand it. Can you stand up in the middle of it and say, I'm listening, I'm here, I'm owning it, and I'm listening? There can be an equal exchange. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily giving in and going back to your old hair color. It may just be that you're owning it and you're hearing them and you're saying, I hear you, thank you for that opinion. However, I'm going to continue to keep my hair green. It's okay. And it's in that place of compromise and allowance, and you move into acceptance, that we can be at home with ourselves and with each other. The other piece of my epic week, my book, Evolutionary Revolutionary, Compassionate Rebellion for Conscious Change, is now available on Amazon, as well as a complement of a coloring book, an adult coloring book that you can use instead of getting a journal. So after each page that you color, there's a reflection page that you can write, you can draw, you can leave it blank, whatever. But you can take the book, Evolutionary Revolutionary, and you do the exercises. There are exercises at the end of each chapter, and there's embodiment practices. And the book explains why I've chosen to structure it this way. And in the coloring book, you can work through the entire book using the coloring book as your journal. So jump over to Amazon. If for some reason the book itself is not available today, it will be this week. I'm waiting on Amazon to confirm this. The coloring book is already out there. If you want to wait and order both together, then they will be available this week. I would love for your feedback. I'd love for you to let me know what you think. And as always, I'm so grateful for you guys. The radio show this week on 1-2 Radio for the Jamie Dawn Show, I will be live, and we're going to be talking about some of this Cancerian energy. We're going to talk about family dynamics, and we're going to talk about unwanted advice, something that seems to be coming up a lot lately, and maybe advice in general, wanted or unwanted. So I'll leave you with this thought. With the energies this week, the undercurrent that you're going to be working with continually, surrender. Doesn't mean giving up. It just means not pushing the river, going with the flow. Remember that serenity prayer. Know that what you can control is your attitude, your response. You're allowed to feel what you feel. Just like when you're in a power struggle with somebody else, remember, sometimes people just want to be heard. They don't necessarily care if you take on their opinions or you change your stances. They just want to be heard. Same thing with your emotions. When your emotions come up, when you feel something, listen to them. Don't run from them. Surrender. And continue to allow the energy to keep working you, because Pluto loves to go deep and dig out that treasure and bring it out and say, is this what you were looking for? And you go, oh, because it's in those moments that the miracles and the magic and so many delicious treasures happen. All right, you guys, have a wonderful week. And thank you so much for subscribing, liking, sharing this video. Again, you know where to find me, jamiedawn.com, 12radio.com, 12listen.com. I'm here for you, Have a beautiful week, everyone. And don't forget, evolutionary revolutionary. All right, you guys, take care.